Hello, welcome to our homestead. My name is Cherie.
And I'm Joseph.
And today in the Harvest Kitchen, we're going to be making recycled magazine Christmas trees. I hope you'll join us. Today in the Harvest Kitchen, we are making recycled magazine Christmas trees. Now, I don't know if you've ever done this activity before, but of course I'm a child of the 50s and 60s, so this was something we really enjoyed doing. You know, all these activities that we're doing, making Christmas ornaments and the things that we're doing on this series is about being resourceful. And when we were children, a lot of times our best times were using what we had at home to make something wonderful for Christmas or for other holidays. So I'm really excited today because this is a series I hope to enjoy with my son, and I hope that it'll become a tradition. So this is my son Joseph, and right now he's on holiday from school, from college, and so I'm taking this time to teach him some of these activities. Now, not only is it, you know, frugal to make your own decorations, and of course you can tailor them to what you like. Children can pick colors that they love, and then it becomes an heirloom for the family, keepsake. But also, when you do these activities, you are helping those little brains to make connections. When you do crafts, you are problem solving. And so as children, we were always thinking up new ways and being very creative in our play and in our crafting and activities that we did as a family. And so those types of things help us to grow dendrites in our brain and help to make connections. And actually it helps children to problem solve and to think and to build confidence. And these things actually help in school. But they also make wonderful memories. And of course, when we're in the kitchen together or the living room and we're engaged with one another, we can also tell stories and share the past with our children and teach them things that we might not otherwise have that time. So today, we're making a craft that we used to do as children all the time. Now, about this time of year, telephone books and magazines, well, the new phone books would be coming in, and we'd have these really thick phone books that would be needing to go into the garbage. But instead of throwing them away at Christmas time, we would recycle them because it was the end of the year. Also, a lot of magazines are coming into the home right now. I think we had one over here. I'll have to find it in just a few minutes. But we're getting those fun magazines, you know, that are about all the wonderful things we could buy or that we can't afford. So when they come into the house, instead of throwing them away, what we're doing is we're making crafts out of them. So I want to show you today, we're going to take just a moment and reset this, but while we're in this particular position, I want to show you what I've done. This is a 100, let's see, I think it was a 120-page magazine, right? So we had a 120-page magazine. We folded it up. We used a piece of cardboard on the bottom. Let me lift it up out of here and I'll show you how it is. A little piece of cardboard. This is actually from a cereal box. And we glued it down, and I worked my fingers and my glue to make this look sort of even. And I used a toothpick and cut out some cardboard from the cereal box and glued in a little star. So what we're going to do is we're going to readjust the camera and show you what Joseph is doing down here close up and what I've done and what I'm continuing to do, and we're going to finish this Christmas tree. So I hope you'll gather your children together or maybe use this for some ideas for during that time between the school closes and it reopens. And remember, Christmas starts on Christmas Day. So you can still be making these activities all that week between Christmas and New Year's before the children go back to school. So come along, let's change the camera and we'll start showing you the details. Okay, so we have here, this is about a 64-page magazine. Now, the pages are fairly thin, but you might want to actually try to get 2 or 3 magazines about this size. We found that I used 120 pages to do our Christmas tree, so it was one magazine, and the pages were actually kind of more thick. And so if you're going to use a very thin magazine like this, you would probably try to round up a few. You want to make sure that they're exactly the same height, exactly the same width, because if they're not, then your Christmas tree is not going to be evenly shaped. Okay? So also, if you use the phone book, this is a nice little phone book. I grew up in New Orleans, and we had the really big, thick phone books, Joseph. They were so thick that when we made them, the pages actually didn't come out like this. They actually kind of went up on an angle and then went in. So the Christmas tree kind of had a little, you know, and up like that. It was a
We still
really...
get phone books that big.
Yeah, they're really big. It was really big. And so when you started folding that phone book, you were at it for a long time. It was like a really long activity. So the phone book pages, though, honestly, this makes the best tree. It really does. Because you have so many pages, you get a nice tight shot. A nice tight, my husband's trying to direct me and I'm saying shot. Okay, so you get a nice tight spacing between your pages, and it stands up very well, and you don't have to work very hard to glue it down. So Joseph has been working on this one, so you want to go ahead and do a little bit of folding and show everybody how we do this folding, and then I'll show on this magazine how it works, okay? Because it's a little different from this magazine, from the phone book to the magazine. Okay, so
Mama had explained this one actually to me earlier, and from the way I understand it, it's really not anything more than just like folding a paper airplane. We take the first fold is, of course, all of these folds are going to go all the way into the corner. So our first fold is just going to be the top half of the page, making one nice corner all the way into your
the
spine right there, and get a nice good press. Make sure that it all ends up flat, and then you can take your fingernail and run it right down along that line to get a nice, good, crisp, straight edge. And then make another fold, just like we did, in half again, right down your spine a second time. Kind of like the more pointy looking paper airplanes that always seem to fly a little bit faster. And then once you get that line nice and crisp and flat, you go right here along the bottom so we can take care of this little extra piece that's sticking off down here. And we're going to score it and mark it first to match the edge of our book so we know how far up we need to fold it under. And then we'll just open this back up and tuck this inside our fold, score it down again to make sure that stays nice and flat. And we'll score this one down again just to make sure that since we opened it, it'll stay closed again. And it should come out looking something about like that. Nice and pointy and flat. And we add that to our stack, and we only have about 700 more pages to go.
But before you get started, what you want to do is you want to try to loosen up the spine a little bit. So you go inside the book and you want to fold it open and get that kind of loose. So as you continue working around your tree, it will start working with you and you'll actually get a bend in it eventually. When you finish and you get it all the way around, you're going to have to take, you're going to have to manipulate it and then try to get your, you're going to have to actually glue
the cover.
Right. Okay, we took a moment to get our cereal box together. And so, Joseph, if you just hold that up for me for a second, please. Thank you. What we're going to do is eventually, when your whole tree is finished and you folded it all, you want to hold it on top of the cardboard and just trace around the edges, okay, to get your line where you're going to mark. This is a very easy project. You don't have to make this accurate. You just want to trace a circle onto your cereal box. And of course, make sure that your tree fits on that cereal box so that you can get an entire circle, okay? All right, we're going to take that off and set that aside. And now let's go ahead and look at our Christmas tree here, and we'll talk a little bit about how this was made. The reason I have this in this dish right here, Joseph, is because you know that we're going to use your favorite thing. We're going to use glitter.
Yeah. Wonderful thing.
Joseph,
makes a mess and it never comes off.
Joseph says it's like, what is it?
It's like kryptonite. One of my many kryptonites. Yes, I do believe I still have some glitter back from old Sunday school days. about 10 so years ago that I still have stuck in places that I can't get out.
I think I have it all over my face too.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so little girls love glitter. I don't know if all little boys love glitter, but
Well, it makes a mess, and that's usually fun for boys, so...
Okay. Well, okay, before we get to the glitter, what I did was after folding, after cutting out my cardboard piece, then I glued down my tree onto the cardboard piece. And what I had to do was, these magazines don't give a big full circle. This was 120 pages, as I said. So I picked a good side. This is my front side, where it's nice and tight. And then you'll see on the back side it's a lot more open up in here. So what I did is I actually took these and I tack glued them together to make sort of a honeycomb shape, okay? To try to pull some of those together. And then after I got it all adjusted, I had put a lot of glue in a circular motion on top of my cardboard before I set down the tree on top. So I was able to manipulate it. And I used just like a plain old school glue in a little bottle, just like this, an all-purpose glue. You can use Elmer's glue, but I would really recommend using Aleene's tacky glue because it sets up very quickly. You get a good tack on it and you're right in place. Then what I did was, after I got it glued just like I wanted, it took a little while. I had to glue a little bit and then wait and then stick a little more and wait. And then I took some of the cereal box and I cut out this little star on top. And I made 2 cuts of the star, and then I took a toothpick. So I glued the 2 pieces together on the star. You'll see that all the way around you can see that the star looks pretty good. And then the stick is on the inside, okay? And so what I did on the back side is I just held it inside of 2 pieces of the magazine sheets and I glued that together, okay? So now, then I had Joseph take it outside and he can show you his fingernails are silver. Okay, he now has silver
Nice and pretty.
fingernails, yes. Because he took it outside and he spray painted it with our nifty little silver spray paint, which I don't see around right now, but we have some gold right here.
I think I actually emptied it, so it's probably gone now.
We were wondering whether to go silver or gold, but we have silver bows in our living room this year, so we decided to use silver. And then, after that was dry with all of the spray paint, then it was looking kind of dull, so I decided to use some green paint on the top. And what I did was I took my paint and I got my brush kind of dry and I just hit the outside edges. Now, you can paint your tree any color you want it to be. In fact, you don't even have to paint it. But the children could pick any color they want, and you might want to do this just for a home project, to have a beautiful arrangement on your table at Christmas time, and you might want to do it for a New Year's party or Christmas party, and you can do anything you want with all your creativity. You could have pink trees if you wanted, okay? You could just spray paint them and leave them like that, leave them natural, do whatever you'd like. And then after I dry brushed the green on top, what I did was I used sprinkles, Joey's favorite glitter. And in this case, I used a beautiful sort of transparent silvery colored whitish glitter. I have no idea what it's called, but it looks like sugar crystals to me.
Easily mistaken for sugar. She's probably going to leave that on the counter and I'll use that on my cereal tomorrow morning.
So we'll have icy crystals. Now I don't know if you can see the sparkle. I'm trying to move it. Oh yes you can. Look how pretty that is. A really nice sparkle. I'm going to complete the star on top like this. I'm also going to finish all the way down the tree. And what I'm doing is I'm actually taking the glue, and you can put it into a little dish like this and just take your brush down the tips like this, and I'm sprinkling it on with a spoon, okay? And then after I do that, we're going to start gluing on some decorations. And our idea, of course, we're trying to use whatever we have at home, so we're going to be using very inexpensive plastic beads from a children's project we had before, and some fun craft buttons that I had on hand. And you could make bows. I'm sure you have wonderful things at home think, you know, to use for different items. You could use charms, you can use ribbons, just anything that you have. So we're going to take a little break and finish up our glitter part right here, and then we're going to come back and start putting on ornaments. Okay, so we're back in the Harvest Kitchen working on our Christmas tree project. I have finished putting the glue and the glitter on the tree, and I have to tell you, it came out a lot better than I remember. I think maybe we've learned some more interesting techniques to make things more, I don't know, more elaborate, glamorous, I guess. The glitter that I used has such a crystal look to it that in this light, it has a sort of dusky green. It's very dusty looking, and then the glitter on top of it just made it really pretty. I think it's come out a lot prettier than I even anticipated. So we've changed the plan a little bit. We're going to do something even a little more fun, and that's the fun of doing a project like this. As you can see, I found some gold pipe cleaners. So what I'm doing is I'm making little bows. We found this elasticized ribbon that you would use on a package. And I like to save bows and things that people give me off of packages to recycle them and reuse them again. So Joseph is making garland on his tree, and I am making bows to go on the garland. We've changed our color theme because it came out so pretty that we decided with our ornaments what we're going to do is use red, white, pink, green, and yellow. That's what we had, so we're working with what we have. And we're going to put these little bows on the garland like this. We're going to glue these on, and then we're going to glue on the ornaments. And so we're going to try to make a little Victorian Christmas tree. So we'll be back in just a few moments after we get this part done. Okay, so now Joseph has been putting on the silver garland, and we've been making the bows, and he's attaching the bows, and we are so amazed at how pretty this is coming out. He has actually decided that it needs to be the center of his snow village. He has the little houses, and he sets up a little snow village every year. So he's decided this is going to be his grand Christmas tree in his snow village. So we're really having fun with this. We have a few smaller pieces we're going to piece together and finish making the loops here. We're going to add one more layer at the bottom with these two pieces, and then we're going to add our bows, and then we'll be back as we put on the ornaments. Okay, so now Joseph has finished putting on the garland with the little bows, and we're liking it just an awful lot. It's coming out better than we even anticipated. So we just wanted to mention that while we're shooting this particular video, we are using a hot glue gun, but if I were working with a small child, I'd definitely use some type of glue, some kind of non-toxic glue, something that's not hot, of course. Probably I would like to use Aleene's tacky glue because it works so well and sticks so quickly. Also, I'm using toothpicks to hold the project in place while it's gluing down and setting up. And then we chose for our scheme on this particular tree, because we are liking the way it looks and we're going for kind of a Victorian look, we picked red, white, sort of a lime green, and some pink and yellow beads and very tiny buttons, because that's what we had. We're working with everything we have on hand, and so that's how we're going to finish this project, with those colors. So we're going to go ahead and start setting up those ornaments, and we'll be back in a bit to show you the finished product. Okay, here's our finished project. We're just really amazed at how beautiful it turned out. We're just really enjoying this, and we're realizing that, you know, it's amazing to think that we started with a magazine and some recycled things from home, like a cardboard container, you know, that we used for cereal, And here we have just old beads, a piece of ribbon that was from an old package someone gave us, some pipe cleaners, and just a toothpick and glitter. And here we are with this beautiful project. Now, we just want to encourage you. That's why we're doing this series. Earlier this year, my family and I, we lost our main source of income, and we had to find ways to be creative in lots of things around the home. And so we thought it'd be a wonderful way to help families who might be having problems like we are. There's all sorts of reasons why income might be tight at Christmas time, but it doesn't mean that we can't have fun with our families and we can't be creative and have beautiful things to enjoy during the holidays to help us celebrate at our family celebrations. And so now Joseph has decided that he likes this tree so much, he picked out the red and clear and white ornaments. He liked the Victorian look, and he's going to set it into his snow village. So we're going to take a moment and head over there, and we'd like you to see the finished product. Okay, so here is Joseph's Christmas tree in his Christmas village. And he was telling me a little story about why he really would like to include it. He was telling me about how when we went to Canton, Mississippi about, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
2 or 3 years ago, the big Christmas setup they did for the Canton Village.
Yeah, so they had a big, enormous Christmas tree, and it was lit up, and it danced to all different, lights, and it was just wonderful, beautiful light show. And we had a great time being there with our friend Sam. And so Joseph wanted to put this Christmas tree in the village because it reminded him of that time that we spent time together as a family, going to see that light display. And we think it looks great. It matches right in with everything he's got here. And so we're just really happy. Did you enjoy doing this project?
Oh yeah, it was a fun project, and it came out a lot better than we thought it did.
It came out a lot better than I thought it would too. And Joseph learned a lot about using a hot glue gun. Yes? Mm-hmm. What to do and what not to do.
It's always more fun when you burn yourself a few times.
Yeah. And we also had to apply the ice. So we definitely recommend using some kind of tacky glue with your child, like Alleen's tacky glue. But we hope that you'll visit us on Facebook. You can visit us by going to facebook.com and /BayouTown, BAYOUTOWN. Also, you can visit us on our website, which is www.bayoutown.com. Now, our website needs some updating, but you'll see some pictures of our family and get an idea of some of the projects we've worked on. And of course, please leave your comments below this video. We look forward to hearing from you and hear your ideas. And if you did this project, or you maybe did this with your children, we would love to hear how yours turned out. We always look forward to hearing from you. So long, and have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.